So actually nobody seems to know very much about Annashri because it was, see, this is the thing, no, that those were the heady days of UID and cash transfers and DBT when it was launched with great fanfare. But in fact, I think it didn't go very far. I think there are a few people who are getting this cash transfer through Annashri, but I'm not sure what the numbers are. I in the past, not very recently, but at that time and a few months after that, we've been looking on the websites to find maybe lists of people who, or even numbers of people who are getting it, but you don't find any documentation of.
So it's still not being stopped, it's still going on.
So if whatever few people were identified initially, I think they are perhaps still getting their money. But if you can find those beneficiaries, I think that will be quite a big finding.
So I think you know, in Delhi, the government that was led by Sheila Dikshit actually did attempt to go in that direction of cash transfers. They had an Annashri Yojana which went in that direction. The thing is that I think there was no clarity about it from the in terms of political direction from the highest levels. So when the National Food Security Act came, so then the Delhi government had to meet those enrollment requirements, and politically they did not have the backing for the cash transfer scheme from the UPA itself. Okay, so that means that for the Annashri program they had to use the resources from their own revenues rather than get it from the central government. So in the absence of that, so that was a deterrent for them to expanding the Annashri program. But while it was in existence, I've seen it, and essentially it was a cash transfer program, but it really worked as a food security program, because when households were interviewed, when I visited them, the first thing they said is that they said that we like this program because the first thing we do with this money is we buy our rations for the month, and so then we are free to in terms of our spending decisions on other goods and commodities. So that uncertainty about food purchases is not there, and many of them said that they would not like to go back to a PDS retailer because supplies there were unreliable, were of very low quality, and they wasted a lot of time in hanging around in standing in lines and not even getting the supplies on time. So those were the issues. There were some implementation issues with Annashri, but I don't know whether the program has continued long enough for them to even resolve this.
No, I don't know how that worked, but many of these schemes have worked in a very small area, and conclusions are, I think, not warranted in some case. For example, suppose you say you've given LPG instead of this you've given, or kerosene subsidies were given for kerosene. People didn't buy kerosene. One doesn't know whether it was because kerosene was not available or whether they did not buy it, or what was the issue, that is not clear. Because did the market was organized sufficiently well so that people could access kerosene? We don't really know these issues. So that I think we should not jump to conclusions from that. But there are experiences in other countries and so on, very detailed and carefully carried out tests and studies show that really cash transfer, even unconditional cash transfers, works very, very well indeed.